Hi guys, Shengtao from Meijing Fitness. I've been looking for the most scientific approach to resistance training, and I've come across the book The Muscle and Strength Pyramid, written by the renowned coach and professor Eric Helms, which provide a ton of research-based information on how to design your own workout. I've summarized the 7 key principles based on this book, and whether your goal is to build strength, hypertrophy, or just simply growing your glutes, this video is for you. The first principle is volume, specifically the number of sets. A set is a series of consecutive movements that you can perform without resting. More is not always better. Many experiments show that the most optimal range for each muscle group per week is any number between 10 to 20 sets. And this is most optimal for both hypertrophy and strength gains. The lower end of the spectrum is more appropriate for beginner, whereas the upper end of the spectrum is more appropriate for advanced lifters. If you perform too few sets in a week, you may risk not having sufficient stimulus for your muscles. On the other hand, if you perform too many of them, you're likely going to risk not having enough rest time for your body. A note on compound movements such as the bench press. It trains not only your pectoralis major, but also your anterior deltoids as well as your tricep brachii. The second principle is intensity, and this is commonly interpreted as how heavy your loads should be. Let's say you can bench press 100 kg 8 times or 80 kg 20 times at most in a single set. Well, either combination is going to provide you a similar level of hypertrophy. In fact, reps between 8 to 35 will provide you with similar level of hypertrophy provided that they are performed close to failure. But for strength gain, reps fewer than 5 is superior. However, lifting heavy will increase your likelihood of injury and therefore should be used sparingly if your goal is hypertrophy. However, reps more than 35 is also going to be problematic because it's going to be difficult to reach failure and also time inefficient. The third principle is frequency. We talked about that 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week is the most optimal. Now let's talk about how to split them. Research shows that hitting the same muscle group at least twice a week is much better for hypertrophy and strength gains than once a week. Let's say if you're doing 20 sets of upper body movement on Saturday, 20 sets of lower body on Sunday, well, you could achieve much better results if you shift some of those volumes to other days, like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, while maintaining the overall volume. Whether 3 times a week is better than 2 times a week, well, the evidence is not so clear, but higher frequency training is indeed more prevalent among the elite lifters. The fourth principle is progression. In order to grow continuously, we need to introduce progressive overload. And for beginner, the most common approach is the linear progression in which you add weights every week or session. Say you are bench pressing 50 kg for 3 sets of 5 this week. You could challenge yourself by adding 2.5 kg every week thereafter. Do ensure to incorporate lighter days every 3 to 4 weeks to avoid burnouts. As you become more experienced, your beginner gains start to wane off, and it's difficult to add weight every week or session, and therefore more periodized approach is needed. I'll talk about periodization in another video. The fifth principle is rest. We were often told to limit the amount of our rest time between sets to ensure sufficient muscle stimulus. However, study shows that whether we are resting 1 minute or 5 minutes between sets have little impact on hypertrophy or strength gains. In fact, if you rest too short, you may risk sacrificing your overall workout quality. Having adequate rest is key, but having rest that is too long is also unnecessary and unproductive. And it will also make your body cold and stiff, which increases injury risks. The sixth principle is variation. Having monotonous training will likely increase the chance of overtraining, illnesses, and also loss of motivation to train. For this reason, you should have more variation in your training parameters such as reps, weight, also exercise selections. For instance, if you're bench pressing twice a week on Monday and Thursday, you could bench press sets of 12 repetitions on Monday and sets of 5 repetitions on Thursday. And for the ladies out there who want to grow their glutes, when it comes to exercise selections, consider the force curve at different muscle length. a lot of exercise work the glutes, but at different positions. For instance, in hip thrust, glutes work the hardest in contracted position at the top, whereas in squats, glutes work the hardest at the bottom position when it's at the most lengthened state. Missing out either type could limit your gains. The last principle is auto-regulation. While having a training plan is of paramount importance in resistance training, having flexibility within that plan is even better. Studies show that people who modify their training parameters based on how they feel that day achieve much better results than people who didn't and follow rigid plans. So if you feel that you're not at the peak of your physical condition due to your day job or other responsibilities, feel free to make that workout session a little bit easier for you, or even skip the entire session completely. On the other hand, if you feel that your training has been too easy recently, feel free to increase the rate of progression. So to end this video, here's a little bit of background information about myself. I used to be a casual gym goer who just want to get fitter, but gradually I realized that training is so fun and it's so fascinating to learn about how human body function and how to apply scientific principles to alter your body and performance. And this growing interest led me to pursue my passion for fitness more seriously. In fact, I just become a certified strength and conditioning specialist through the NSCA. And to further supplement my knowledge, I come across the book, The Muscle and Strength Pyramid, which provide not only robust and science-based principles, but also practical guidance to help me design my trainings better. Hope this helps.